He's getting live.
Huh?
I'm going live.
Now? When?
No, not like live, like video live. Not like video, like a song live, like a song live.
Making me sad.
Oh no, I'm not gonna rap this time. I'm just gonna talk.
What are you gonna talk, sing?
Okay, then talk it up.
Zippity zip zip. Oh my gosh! Welcome, guys. Welcome to the live. I know there's like probably about like 1.5 people right now. No,
Yeah, I knew you were faking.
no, I dead ass. I'm on live. No joke.
What?
I was like, what the frick? I was like,
Oh yeah.
Not with very years.
So what I need to do? No, they won't be able to hear that. I need to check to see if we're good.
they can't.
View. Okay. Here we are. I'm not gonna rap this time. I'm just gonna.
That was.
No, I dead ass. I'm on live. No joke.
What?
Ew, Nikki!
Oh my god. Right in the live. Let's show the face.
Oh, the live!
No joke.
Share the face!
The whole world will know.
That's
Nah, dude.
crazy.
I don't know what's going on with my other one. Oh, bro, it's because I didn't start the other ones. Let's actually press start and then we can.
Come to us now. Jimmy said it was us.
Okay. So now that I'm actually properly live, sorry about the little delay there, guys. You know, we just had a little bit of life going on in the background, a little bit of existence and awareness, and that was okay. Even though, despite my mind, my Taurus self, I want things to be prim and proper, like clear cut, no messing around, none of that coo. I want that clean, mean coming on the scene. So today on live, I wanted to break down Pisces season because the more I notice, the more I do my lives, the more I just kind of go with the flow, the more I find myself like having it. Not only do I enjoy doing the live better, but I also notice that I enjoy the live better. Though I don't really watch my videos back anymore. I did at the start. Like I would look at them, just kind of skim over them and see like, is this good enough? Do I actually feel like this is good, or where can I improve type thing? But now, because obviously like I'm there while I watch the video, so I don't necessarily feel the need to watch it over and over again how I used to. Well, not over and over, but you get the idea. I just don't feel the need to watch it over. So today, let's break a little bit down on what we're experiencing. What are the alignments, you know what I'm saying? And the alignments today, we are in Pisces season. We are 2 degrees past the first day of Pisces season, technically. Because when we're 3 degrees in, this is talking about us being in the cusp still. Now, if you know anything about my last videos, I'll be knowing all the ins and outs of the cusp. Because, bish, I got a cusp sun. What else do I have a cusp? Majority of my houses are on the cusp, so I've got heavy cusp energy. And if you don't know what cusp energy is, basically the best way, the most simplest, purest way that I can explain it to you without getting too deep into words and bullshit and blah blah blah, confusion. So imagine you are confused between 2 signs, right? So you got one side of yourself, it's like that whole, like in the TV shows how they have like the angel and the devil like on the shoulder. The cusp is like that. It's like you got like one sign as the angel and one sign as the devil, you know? So sometimes you follow that one, sometimes you follow that one. Sometimes you don't follow either. You just kind of make a blend of the two and make your own decision. But either way, it's that two sides, that two sides. So it's almost like being a Gemini. Like if you're a cusp, like you got like two sides to yourself. But Gemini, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. But it's a bit like that, if you could compare it to anything. Anyways, when we're in the cusp of two signs in our alignment, right? This is a different story. This is talking about... Okay. This is talking about us not being fully in that Piscean energy yet. So we were just in Aquarius season, and then not being fully in that Piscean energy is essentially, it's going to be more Aquarian based, but it's still Piscean by nature. Which, what is Pisces? It's dreams. It's expansion, because it's ruled by Jupiter, right? Because when it talks about your dreams, you want to expand and you want to experience your dreams, right? But it's the feminine aspect. It's the internal aspect. This is why it's the water. So water is tied to the feminine, the internal. And so when it's Pisces and it's Jupiterian wants to experience, wants to learn, wants to gain wisdom and knowledge, right? But when it's internal and it's feminine based, this is all wisdom and knowledge based on your internal, what wisdom and knowledge can you gain from going about your dreams? What kind of experiences can help you to bring you closer to your dreams? Sorry about that, guys. I just had to freaking close the door because some tobacco smell was going in my room, and that is fucking nasty. I don't fuck with that shit. Bitch, I fucking quit. I don't want to smell that shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and micromanage people's lives because they're doing it. You know what I mean? But I'm going to just close my fucking door and be on my merry way because I can't be fucked with that shit. And I definitely can't be fucked messing around with useless, waste of time bullshit. Because this is one thing as well. Like, if y'all think that like you telling someone something is going to make them be more considerate, I mean, by all means. But my personal experience and my personal opinion, if they gave a fuck, they would do something about it. So they don't give a fuck in the first place. So you're already messed up in your mind for thinking that you telling them something is going to make them give a fuck any more than they have to. But anyways, besides the point, it sounds a little bit like bitching, but I was just trying to make it like a teaching moment, like a lesson kind of moment, right? Bringing that Jupiterian kind of energy in. So when we're fully in the season of Pisces, what is this going to entail, mate? This is going to entail us swimming in a world of our imagination, swimming in a world of our making, right? This is why I did this title. Because it's in the sun, it's all about the external. It's all about your actions, how you see things, right? So right now, people are going to be seeing things. Their actions are going to be predicated and based on their dreams, their imaginations, their delusions, right? So delusional type energy is that Pisces kind of vibe. So if you got a lot of Pisces in your chart, or you are a Pisces, you might be delusional quite often in your life. You find yourself being delusional and having to kind of wake yourself up and be like, no, wait, it's not like this. It's actually like this. And this can also apply to, what's it called? Oh, I can't remember the other sign right now off the top of my head. But if I remember, I'll bring it up. So, when our actions and the way we see things is based on our feminine internal experiences and so on, this is going to be like either you're experiencing something beautiful or you're experiencing something hideous, So if you're experiencing a whole bunch of stuff that's like really hideous and you don't really like it, this is a part of what you've created and manifested through your dreams and your imaginations. and how you are internally experiencing things. And then vice versa. If you like what you're starting to experience, this is also the same. And there's many different avenues and ways where you could be in the middle spectrum. Because you might like some things you're experiencing and you might hate the other things that you're experiencing. But it's all based on, right now, because we're in Pisces season, that is the dream and imagination you have created for yourself. So, as well, because we're only at the start of Pisces season, you're only going to be really experiencing the initial beginning stages of it. As we go deeper into Pisces season, it's like you're delving deeper into this dream, deeper into this imagination, right? More of this experience. So right now, it's just like the beginning. The beginning. So if you can't handle what's going on right now, you definitely won't be able to handle as Pisces season keeps going, because that is a, kind of telltale sign that you've been manifesting some kind of nightmare. This is where people will start to experience like their worst fears come true, the type of shit that they have been worried about starting to come true and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyways, on top of that, it's a moon in Capricorn right now too. We're leading up to the new moon too. Pretty sure we're not on the new moon today. If I remember the date, was the 28th. Right, so the new moon starts about tomorrow-ish. Maybe tomorrow or the next day. Like going on to the next day, but tomorrow's date. So we're at 12 o'clock a.m. right now. So technically tomorrow is not tomorrow. Tomorrow is the next day. So we're going to be experiencing right now people reacting and responding to our status and what we're known for, right? So people may know you for one thing or the other right now, but all of it's going to be predicated on your status, what you're known for, how you conduct yourself in a business kind of setting, right? Don't mind me, guys. So with Capricorn moon, people might be reacting and responding or feeling a type of way about your status, what you're known for, how you're seen, or how you conduct yourself. So, if you're on the negative end, you may be experiencing a lot of people seeing you in a negative light. Or if you're on a more positive end, you may be experiencing a lot of people starting to see you in a more lighter aspect. Or a lighter light. Or they may be seeing you as someone who has their shit together, like whatever it may be. But people are going to see you in a certain way during this time. So, be mindful of those thoughts and those feelings as well, because you might add fuel to something that necessarily doesn't have to get that big. And now you're seen in a way that you could have kind of avoided had you have just known what energy we're experiencing right now and how that will correlate to how you're seen, your status and what you're known for, etc. So, when we come into the Aquarius new moon tomorrow / the next day, the Aquarius new moon, we're going to be developing new associations, whether it's people, places, or things, because people hear associations, they might think just people, but it's not necessarily just that. It's people, places, and things. So we're going to be experiencing this new world, this new aspect, this new way of reacting, responding, or connecting to, or just experiencing in general, our associations with people, places, and things being in alignment with whatever we've been in alignment with. So if you've been aligning with bullshit, you're going to be aligning with people that's more in line with that bullshit. If you've been aligning with your purpose, your passions, your goals, your aspirations, then you're going to be more in alignment and you'll be aligning more with those kind of things once we hit the new moon. But either way, you'll be experiencing some kind of new world. And it's doubly like that now because we're in Pisces season. So you're really going to be associating with a certain dream or a certain nightmare that you've been cultivating for yourself. And so, yeah, big loves out to all the people out there who may be struggling, but at the same time, you made your bed, now you lay in it type shit. Because at the end of the day, your life is always a product of your choices. So I say big loves because, I know how it can be when you're in that situation, but I also don't necessarily see you as a victim either. So don't get into that victim mindset too. If you hear what I'm saying and you're like, oh, big loves, it's like, no, you made your bed, now lay in it. But, big loves and all the best when it comes to you getting out of that, because at the end of the day, we're all fighting our own uphill battle. We're all trying to get out of whatever bullshit we've created for ourselves, whatever responsibilities we might have piled on ourselves that we don't necessarily need to hold on to anymore. And either way, you either stay the same or you keep growing, you keep evolving, you keep changing, you keep expanding. And then that's how you basically do. That's like basically shadow work right there. So you can choose to stay in the shit or do your shadow work. And a lot of people in this world choose to stay in the shit. So I don't want to delve too deep into the astrology as well, because I feel like there's plenty other people on the internet that'll explain it in definitely a great way. But I do want to start incorporating a little bit of the animals of this atmosphere where I am in Australia, and also including those ones from New Zealand as well, where I'm born, so that we can get an idea, an example of the characteristics of each sign and how they play out naturally in nature. Not like Pisces, which is like some kind of man-made concept or idea or way of looking at that energy. So, when it comes to a certain natural thing that you might experience on this end of the spectrum, this southeastern hemisphere that we are on. Let me think of an example. Honestly, the first thing that came to my mind was because we've been seeing a lot of cockatoos around lately, right? We've been seeing a lot of cockatoos, and this is actually the cockatoo kind of season right now, is where they start to come out to play. And they're very, very loud and rowdy type energies. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So I just searched up a little bit of the characteristics of a cockatoo, because that made me think of those kind of characteristics that Pisces have, right? And it says cockatoos are very energy intensive and require a lot of care, right? So this is resonating a lot with that cockatoo kind of, that Piscean kind of energy as well. Because when it comes to the energy intensive nature, this is giving very much Jupiterian, Because if you know anything about Jupiterian signs, or Sagittarius specifically, they're very energy intensive, but they also don't necessarily need a lot of care. And it's saying that cockatoos do need a lot of care. So this is more of that water-based kind of energy that Pisceans would experience. So, what's it called? As well, like all that loud, because cockatoos are loud. They're very rowdy, they're very loud, and they're very social. So that's also a Jupiterian kind of concept too, a little bit with that loudness. Because loudness, what is that? You're expanding your vocal cords, you're expanding your sound to reach further. So this is representing a form of expansion in the form of Jupiterian energy itself. And not only that, cockatoos are very large birds. So again, that's like another testament to that Jupiterian kind of energy. And then with the needing a lot of attention and care, that's a very water sign or watery kind of aspect too. Because water signs, they need connection, you know. So when it comes to the cockatoo, they need connection too. All birds are social in some way, shape or form. But cockatoos, they need that extra connection and can become very frustrated if they're not getting enough connection. And that's why you always will see cockatoos in a pack. You won't generally see cockatoos by themselves. Even today, I saw like a whole bunch of birds swooping. There was 2 cockatoos, but they were still with a huge pack of birds, right? So even though they were technically split from their own pack of cockatoos, or their own grouping, they were with a larger grouping of other birds. So that, you know, in a way they weren't actually split. They still had that connection. They still had that sense of community, sense of connection. And then also they represent change as well. But mind you, all birds kind of represent change in some way, shape or form. Because birds travel, you know, they expand, they fly to different places. So they're tied to the air element too, which is all about travel, movement, communication is a form of change, you know, because when you communicate, you can change someone's mind, or, you know, they can change your mind, or you can change the way you perceive each other through the way you're communicating. You know, as soon as you start to talk to someone, you'll be able to kind of shift your perspective and you'll be like, oh, this person, I actually starting to like them a lot more than I thought I might, or vice versa, you know. And then with Capricorn, because we also just came out of Aquarius and Capricorn season. Capricorn could be represented by the little raven or the crow, you know, because we also experience those around like Capricorn season, Capricorn, Aquarius season. So the raven or the crow is definitely significant when it comes to that. And this side of the world, I know with the other parts of the world, you might experience those in different times of the year. But we experience a lot of ravens and a lot of crows out during Capricorn season. So that's like basically like raven moon. We got a raven moon, or a little raven moon, and then like a cockatoo sun. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. If you think that these characteristics might be off, I'm open to little suggestions and stuff like that. That'll be cool, because then we can build on it, you know. I'm just trying to throw out some ideas, some suggestions, some basis of the characteristics that I witness from that certain animals and certain species that I see out when during these seasons and such. And then also, let's see. With the little raven or the crow, those are representations as well, like of like first thing people think when they hear the raven and the crow is like death, right? And also Capricorn is right after Sagittarius. So it's right after that expansion, that transformation, which is also right after Scorpio, you know. And so it's like that beginning of a new cycle, that beginning of a new reality that you're about to initiate into and you're about to jump into. And then also when it comes to ravens and crows as well, they're very, very, very much remember people, you know. So that's another kind of Capricorn quality there. So they know among ravens and crows, they have their own system of, you know, certain statuses that will apply to certain people. And so this is why a lot of people will get swooped very often by little ravens and crows. They'll be swooped by them because they have that kind of network system where they tell each other raven and crow, you know, this person's that type of person that treated us like shit in the past, or this person's that type of person who treated us like this in the past. So then it becomes them sweeping you, or not, you know, because I've never been swooped by a raven or a crow, ever. But that I've heard is very common, especially around Capricorn season in Melbourne. I don't know about other parts of Australia, but in Melbourne around Capricorn season, very common for people to say that they get swooped by little ravens and crows. But I would argue that those same people have probably treated those little ravens or crows like shit. Might not be that specific one, but they probably have in one point in their life. And I never did that. Not from my memory, at least, you know. And if I did, they must not have cared about it because I must not have done it that bad. You know what I mean? For otherwise, they would have been swooping me. But yeah, and that's a little breakdown of the astrology that we're experiencing right now, and a little breakdown of the kind of animals that would represent those characteristics of the astrology that we're experiencing, right? So, you know, welcome to the world that you've created. Welcome to your imagination that is being birthed into your reality. It's going to be a bumpy ride, nah, jokes. Yeah, as I was saying earlier in the video too, the more I notice myself talking about just whatever the fuck I want to talk about, being more free, being more light, and not really focusing too much on the topic, I find myself enjoying my videos a lot more. The list goes on. There's a list of benefits when it comes to me just kind of freestyling and winging a lot of this shit. Don't get me wrong though, I will still incorporate that kind of Taurus fixated practical kind of energy in order to kind of do that little like ritual and spell to keep things orderly and conducted nicely, because at the end of the day I'm not an Aries sun. You know, it's important for me to be aware of that because Aries is definitely more predicated on that spontaneous, impulsive kind of energy. Me, not so much. And I've seen that many times in my life with examples that have shown me that, you know, the more I would rush things or try to act in a more Aryan way, the more I would notice myself experience a lot of negative repercussions of those same things, you know? So when it comes to the videos though, that's a different story. That's a whole different story. And honestly, I'm struggling to keep my eyes open, but I want to talk for maybe like 5 or 10 more minutes and then I'll hop off. Because I really just wanted to talk shit, and then I talked heaps about astrology, and I was like, bitch, I wanted to talk shit. Not like talk shit, like actually, but like I just wanted to, you know, speak what's on my mind type. Keep your eyes open. Fuck. So yeah, as well, like I noticed like in modern times, especially nowadays, you know, a lot of people like things to be kind of more perfect. I noticed that with my generation a lot. You know, like, don't get me wrong, if that works for you, by all means, do what you gotta do. But for me, I just want to steer away from a lot of the mainstream type shit. And I've always been like that. I've always been the type to kind of go against the grain. It's like, and I used to just think, oh, like, that's just me. That's just the way I choose to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then I look at my chart, which, yeah, it is just me. It's my way of expressing, you know. But then I look at my chart and I have, what is it? Uranus in the 10th house. So basically what that means, because Uranus is change, rebel, and opposition. And then 10th house is what you're known for and your status and how you conduct yourself in a business kind of setting. When it comes to me having Uranus in the 10th house, naturally everything that I do is going to be unique and original and rebelling and opposing against what is the norm. So I've noticed that within my life, even when I tried to be normal, quote unquote, or not rebel, like kind of be more acceptable and relatable, my life actually shows me that exactly what I don't want. So for example, I'll try to be more acceptable and relatable, but the way that I go about being more acceptable and relatable is like non-relatable in itself, if that makes sense. And not always in a bad way, you know, it's not always in a bad way, but I just have that natural quality of really coming from that unique kind of space, that unique perspective, no matter how hard I try to be ununique. So I notice, yeah, even when I try to be as normal as I can, my way of being normal is not necessarily normal. You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing and a curse, because obviously, you know, I get to kind of do things that a lot of people and tread and walk paths that a lot of people wouldn't even want to walk. And I'm not even saying that I necessarily want to walk them, but it also encourages me to get out of my comfort zone, experience new things, and so it allows me to be closer to all possibilities, because all possibilities wants each of us to experience new things and jump out of our comfort zones when needed and when necessary. Otherwise, you know, you just remain stagnant. We wouldn't grow, we wouldn't expand, we wouldn't change, we wouldn't anything. So that is really what the goal is, low key. It's about expansion and changing and growth, transformation, you know, which is like allows me to be closer to all possibility, but also the curse behind it. Yeah. Naturally, someone like me feels a lot more disconnected or alienated from the human world or the physical world, because of the way that, not only the way that I think and react, but also just the way that I act, and also just how I'm seen from an external perspective. So even when people want to see me in a relatable way, their way of seeing me in a relatable way may be unique and original, or change, rebel, and oppose against what they see as relatable. And so it's like definitely a double-edged sword kind of energy there. But you know, you got to work with what you got and do the best with what you have, you know. And if you don't, then bitch, you fucking sit around and sulk then, you know, like, otherwise, the fuck else are you gonna do? Like, wait for it to change or fucking beg? I don't know. I'm fucking tired, man. I think it's been 10 minutes. No, it's not even been 5 minutes, dickhead. That was hilarious. So yeah. The more as well that I step into that energy, I notice more benefits, more positive outcomes too. So the more I step into that, embracing that kind of change, rebel, and oppose kind of energy that I'm naturally known for, or naturally perceived as, the more that I notice positive outcomes, the more that I notice more smoother sailing type energy. So things play out a lot smoother. They're not so friction like. They're not so frustrating or irritating. It feels just right, like that lukewarm freaking cup of tea. Not lukewarm, that's the wrong word. Like that warm cup of tea, like that's like just the right temperature, like, and you just like kind of find yourself sculling that shit down because like it's like at the perfect temperature. It's got just the right amount of honey or sugar, whatever it may be. I'm just trying to think what the heck I was on about. I was about that change of rebel and opposing energy, right? So the more I embrace it, the more smoother things play out. That's basically what I was saying. And that's like a good lesson for me, but it's also a good reason to why it's good to know your chart. Because a lot of the time I would try to separate or distance myself from that energy of change, rebelling, and opposing against certain things, or being unique and original, or being a unique individual. But now that I see it in my chart, I start to see, okay, well, no, I can use this as a tool, as a gift, as a benefit, rather than a downfall, So instead of looking at it like, oh no, this is something I have to fucking cope with. No, it's something that I can actually use to my advantage, and then it will help me in turn to actually cope with it a lot better, deal with it a lot better. And therefore, I won't be sitting around thinking to myself, like, woe is me type shit. Because I took my power back by learning more about myself and understanding the differences of my chart and my life and how they intertwine, and then how I can kind of translate and correlate each, because it's really a tool to understand your life. Charts and stuff like that are not necessarily what a lot of people may get lost into. My gosh. A lot of the times it's literally just a way for you to sort of gauge different aspects of yourself and understand them or understand them on a deeper level than you would just be able to by kind of just winging it, just assuming, just guessing, or, just learning as you go, which both is beneficial. Don't get me wrong. All things have their benefits and all things have their downfalls. Well, yeah. I was going to say most things, but yeah, pretty much majority, if not all things, have their benefits and downfalls. So it's about weighing out the pros and the cons type shit instead of anyways. I'm really struggling to keep my eyes open, so I'm gonna end it right here. It's been just about 10 minutes, but yeah, you just get the idea. I'm gonna just go do my thing, get ready for freaking go to sleep because I'm struggling to keep them shits open right now. But I hope you guys have a great time wherever you are. And peace.